You wake up in your bed and you're only 12 years old. Everything since was just a dream, but you have the knowledge of your older self. What do you do differently? Everything. Just fucking everything was my first thought. About to type this. I don't know the fact that you feel the same way. That so many people do too. I could cry. God, I wanna be 12 again. Realize my self-worth. Get out of my crappy hometown. Go to college for what I'm really passionate about. Take school more seriously. Edit. I'm going to add a couple more of my own. Don't use food as your coping mechanism for the emotional trauma I'm going to endure. Spend as much time as you can with dad. He only has about 10 years left. Edit. Whoa. I had no clue this was going to blow up. Thank you all for the great responses. 1. Avoid all debt. 2. Get a degree in a different subject. And 3. Marry someone else. Damn. You surely regret a lot of important things. I hope life gets better for you. Kudos. Start lifting weight. Edit. Thanks for the gold. Stranger. Isn't it bad to start before a certain age? If you tell me I could start from 12, I should have known this before. Not say that I want to be a doctor when I get older. That would save me a tureen of headache and needling. Also change my study habits, walking habits, hygiene habits, and speaking habits. Another ton of headaches gone. If you're a 12-year-old with your current knowledge, I feel like your study habits get changed in the opposite direction to what you might want. I'd work out more and I'd give up on certain friends and try harder with some. Really only 3 that come to mind that are worth trying to stick with this time around. I'd ignore the rest. Not sure what else I'd do really. This speaks to me. I hung out with a lot of assholes and let them push me around cause I thought they were cool and I was obsessed with popularity. There were some more genuine kids but I didn't seek them out like I should have. Cry. Cry beyond happiness that I'm back in 2005 and begin playing Dungeons and Dragons. I'd sit my parents down, tell them the truth. And that they should take out a second mortgage on the house and invest in small startups that I know will grow dramatically in size. They would not believe me. So I'd have to make a prediction of a news event in the near future that's completely out of left field and can't be denied. This would be 1994, I'm assuming the same date. So I'd probably choose O.J. Simpson being arrested for killing his wife. Which would be the 18th of June. Week and a half. They'd be amazed and from then on I'd essentially run the house and largely function as an unfettered adult in my 12-year-old body. I'm still gonna jerk off like 10 times a day though. For old time's sake. Go to the f***ing gym and never start smoking. 12-year-olds shouldn't go to the gym. They go to the playground and sports field. Many hard exercises can ruin the young growing body. A 12-year-old waking up with decades of memories would go insane. People would think they're crazy until they started listing off everything that would happen and they would come true. Invest money. Hey mom, can you put my allowance in the stock market this month? I swear you won't regret it. When I was 12, I received a $5,000 check from a very generous family member. I wanted to buy stock in Amazon, but my parents used it to pay for school. I can't say whether my parents or I would have had the patience to have really profited from that stock. And I'm grateful for my education. But I think about it frequently. When was you 12? If you bought in 2010 it would be somewhere about 125k now. If you bought a dip in 2001 it would be about 250,000. I'd immediately start making plans to leave the house ASAP. Same here. I would leave ASAP and try and get the hell out of the country. Start life over away from that awful town and relatives. It wouldn't be fair. Getting my childhood back and having to relive all that crap. Tell my mom. You know how you work with kids that have ADHD? You know how you constantly say those kids remind you of me? You know how you're constantly getting mad at me for doing things that are symptoms of ADHD? Here's the phone book. Call a psychiatrist and make an appointment. Also, I would tell my dad what stocks to buy. My ADHD was the first thing I thought of too. Wasn't diagnosed until 2015 at age 19. I can't help but imagine how different things would be for me now had I received help early on. Get myself put in foster care and finish school early. Blackmail my father and stepmother with knowledge of their crimes and putting the fear of God into them to get my siblings the emotional and academic support they need from outside sources. Probably spend a year or two figuring out what the optimal career path is to be financially stable enough to have kids in my 20s. Do that. Try to justify my knowledge of a couple languages nobody I've ever met has spoken according to everyone I know. Spend a long time wrapping my head around how to have relationships with people once legally old enough. When I'd be attracted to people much older than me but subconsciously judging those same people willing to have a relationship with my much physically younger self. Troll the internet by making people freak out with my uncannily accurate comments about the future. Likely get accused of being a hipster for an annoyingly large portion of my life thanks to consistently liking trends before they're popular. Truth is, everyone would have a mental breakdown. You wouldn't be able to trust reality anymore. And I can't begin to imagine the mental toll of losing everything you have overnight and trying to connect with others as a 12-year-old with a 20-something's mindset. Insist on getting birth control. Get an autism screening. Tell my crush that I do have a crush on him. But it's okay if he doesn't like him back. Fight my elementary school principal. Do not take art or band. IT is not fun. Funny. Because I'd end up majoring in music in college if I could do it all over again. And I'd start a mariachi band, play tuba, and a barbershop quartet, sang tenor, instead of working my way through at the mall. Hell. I'd still probably join the army. But instead of being a photographer, I'd be in the band. 12 was a shitty year. But I would encourage my family to exercise more and eat better. I didn't eat broccoli until college. We just didn't have it. Fresh veg was too expensive. My brother died recently. Of a heart attack. Maybe I could have saved him. Tell you what, I would brush my goddamn teeth for sure. My mother asked 12 or 13-year me if I wanted braces. A 12 or 13-year said no. Like any f-king teenager. I'd say yes. But high school would be on a higher difficulty setting for sure. If it was all a dream, then it's useless information, isn't it? I've had a lot of dreams. None of them have come true. Okay, let's assume somehow your dream told you the entire future as it was gonna happen so you could make 100% accurate predictions. Find my current significant other so we wouldn't have to deal with any of life's bullshit that would bring us together anyways. I would make us save our money. Learn how to invest and buy into those now large corporations when they first began. So many ideas. Edit. Your significant other will also have you in their memory. So I'm at a disconnect on some of these comments below. What if she wasn't ready for you at a younger age? Maybe certain events that shaped her will never happen. You say the shit that did happen or not would have brought you together anyways isn't 100% it's possible. But without some the experiences that she learned along the way may not be there that made her like you in certain ways. But if it works out, send a postcard with a white woman wearing a sombrero so I know it's you. Realize that even though they called me fat when I was 12, I wasn't fat at all. And feel better about my body image. Get the ADHD diagnosis now instead of at 22 so I can get help quicker. Pick a career I really want instead of settling for one I'm okay at. When that teacher's assistant asks you to read her novel and give her feedback, do not tell her your own novel idea. She steals everything from the plot twists to the title and uses them for her own novel. Take my cat to vet earlier, get cancer taken care of before it spread. Then punch the BTCH out of my dad. Move out. Get hell a lot better job. Profit. I've made mistakes. But the mistakes that I didn't make were my 4 wonderful kids from 3 wives. Were I to change one thing early on, all that would have changed. So I guess that I say that I would change nothing. It's been an interesting ride. My same thought. You don't get to choose. Take away the bad. Lose the good too. But maybe I could show some people more love, knowing what few time is left until I'll lose them. Never start playing League of Legends. Get my cat into the vet and hopefully save his life. Keep a close eye on my other cat so he doesn't run away. Also, tell my mother how I really feel that she was abusive and incredibly difficult to deal with. And that she gave me severe depression and anxiety that's ruined my life. And tell her that because of how she's treated me in the past, I won't seem to care about her death. But I do. Because despite everything, I still love her. I want an apology from her before she dies, but I also want to apologize to her. And I'll make sure to stay at the hospital the night before she dies instead of going home. I'll be with her when she passes in the morning. Stop my disordered eating habits and self-harm while I still had control. Urge my parents to get me the mental health treatment I needed instead of waiting until it was almost too late. Appreciate my friends, school, and hometown. Pop my ego bubble earlier. Sign up for advanced classes outside of school to keep my work ethic up. Apologize to my friends for how much of a huge asshole I've been to them. Not overwhelm myself with overly challenging classes freshman year of HS and college. Not ask out certain people. Invite people to social gatherings more often. Not screw up on half my AP tests to be able to skip certain courses in college. Start rock climbing sooner. Join certain extracurriculars sooner. Plenty more. I'd definitely save Haram in 2016. Some say that might be the point in which this timeline went wrong. Maybe Haram was killed by evil time-traveling alien assassins from the future to throw our world into chaos. Counterpoint. What if Haram somehow made everything worse? Like Haram escapes in June 2020 and spreads COVID during the protests and causes an unimaginable catastrophe. Don't waste my time with a girl that used 5 of my best years. Nobody cares and this will be buried. But I would change my behavior in my relationship with my, soon to be at 12, girlfriend. We've been together for over 3 years now. Both of us are 19. We were planning to get married, but my behavior and complacency that grew has ruined our relationship. She is ready to break up. She's still here and says she's willing to try. And I am going to try my hardest to prove to her that I can do it. But man, it's hard to have hope. I was going to marry this woman and she was my everything. Now I stand at the end of it all with no hope. I wish so badly I could go back and do it again and this time love her how I should have. I fear it is too late for me. But I will try till I can't anymore because I love her with everything and want to show her that. Spend time with my great grandma who recently passed. I miss her every day and just want to spend time with her. I would eat food before my workout class. Got a concussion that held me back a year or so. Leave my parents before they become abusive. Go with my partner when they move away. Warn them not to take the bus home on the 10th of December, 2019. Going back to middle school would suck, but I'd have more confidence. I'd just have to endure repeating school until I turned 18. At 18 I would open my trade account with 2 decades of stock knowledge. I'd know what stocks to get into to ride the end of the dot-com bubble and get out before the crash. I'd know when to ride the metals market up and when to get out of stocks again before the 08 crash. I'd invest in Bitcoin in 08 and ride it up to 2017. By 2020 I'd be a billionaire with everything I know about how the markets moved in the last 2 decades. It would be glorious. First, I'm going to be nicer. Second, I'm coming out sooner. And third and most importantly, I'm taking a different degree than Poly C. Take time to actually enjoy being a teenager. Actually go to parties a couple times. Ask out that hot girl who kept eyeing me in French class even though I was oblivious to it. Go to at least one prom. I joined the army after high school and between work, school, hitting the gym every day, and other stuff I'm doing to advance my career, I don't have nearly the same amount of time I did a year ago to just have fun. Don't invest so much time in fake friends. Realize depression and mental illness isn't shameful and get help. Really just fix a lot of things. Clearly make some index-based investments. Focus on sports and school to secure scholarship. Tell all my worthless friends off. Sad. Though. Probably won't encounter my lovely wife. I don't regret a second with her. Serious answer is I'd know who a couple of prolific pedophiles were in my neighborhood when I lived there. Instead of finding out about them years later, and I'd work to try to get them caught. Approach them about hormone replacement and discomfort. Dad's going to be upset. But I think he'll get over it. Mom will be okay with it. But only because she's okay with everything with her must maintain medium attitude. Grandparents on dad's side would be super upset. Grandma on mom's side would be absolute all in love every second of it. Grandpa on mom's side died before I was born. Brother likely wouldn't care. I've never even hinted anything to him, but he's always been in support of me. So yeah. It's 28 years later. Hopefully I'm happy for once. Completely ignore every single authority person that ever told me if you just ignore the bullies, they'll get bored eventually and give up. They don't. It only drives them to try harder, since it is then more satisfying when you finally crack. I wasn't even a typical target, as I played sport and was a part of the social group. It all just came down to being a small town and someone had to get it. It took me a few years of hell and having friends threatened with injury for daring to associate with me before I threw that pariah BS aside and beat the living ST out of each and every one of them to end the nightmare. Avoiding those years would have saved a lot of authority trust issues now. So many of them could have stopped it at any time as they saw it escalate. But either the education system, apathy, or it'll toughen the boy up mentality held them back. Having my dad buy Bitcoin instead of penny stocks. Personally buying calls on the market into 2020. Then buying very OTM puts. Make a few million billion. Go to college for what I'm studying now. Would have saved me a headache. Join track my first year of high school. Would have broken down state records maybe. Not just high school records. Maybe a few other things here and there. Take school seriously. Don't ever touch a cigarette. Never pick up alcohol. Stay away from all the hoes. Invest in Bitcoin when it starts. Get a job as soon as possible. Start a YouTube channel claiming I'm a reincarnated drug addict alcoholic child wonder and wow the world with my knowledge. Gradual early potentially. That sort of thing. Call my ex and warn him about an accident that will happen to his dad in 4 years. Dump religion ASAP. Get a rainbow flag and lots of LGBT stuff to help my bro feel comfortable coming out to me sooner. Spend more time with my grandpa. Go meet J.K. Rowling right about as Harry Potter is about to explode. Panic every day about the butterfly effect. Stop 9/11. Just curious. But if you managed it, or even if you tried and failed, how would you explain your future knowledge? I can imagine some properly paranoid security types deciding that your inside knowledge means you were connected to the plot in some manner. And make your life hell trying to figure out how. Not that saving those lives wouldn't be worth it. But I have to ask.